Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
This is the JK Not Really podcast, episode 10. I'm Kurt.
And I'm Jacqueline. Welcome back.
Today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff because
Yes.
once again, the week has been insanely packed full of news.
Oh my God, has it been?
So first, I think we were going to talk about Susan Crawford.
Yes. Congratulations,
Susan Crawford.
And there it is. Proof. People, we beat the money. I repeat. People, we beat the money. Okay?
Yeah, you cannot buy elections,
You
Elon Musk.
cannot.
People don't like you. They
Yep.
like you. They don't like you so much that they don't care if you're going to give them money. They'd rather just vote against you.
Yes, exactly. That was your big mistake, showing up there with a cheese hat.
And a check.
Oh, and a check,
Like-
which probably bounced.
Like an Ed McMahon check, too. Like,
Oh God.
and you know, the fact that I remember the last episode I said that was illegal. Well, actually,
is.
no, they ruled that it wasn't illegal because it wasn't direct, because he wasn't paying them to vote. He was hiring them as spokespeople.
Oh, and they were Republican spokespeople
so
that got those
stupid.
checks. Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't. Yeah,
I'm sorry, receive rights. That is bullshit.
no, it is. They always find the loopholes, man. Are you kidding me?
But
But it
Crawford
did-
won.
And easily. I'm repeat.
It was great.
Easily, she won easily. I'm so happy that made me feel so hopeful, and I think that actually made a lot of people hopeful.
I think it set the tone of what the midterms might be like. I mean, we
Yes.
didn't win Florida, but we did better in Florida.
Oh heck yeah!
so like 16 points or something.
Yes, it was
So-
like Trump won by 30, and then the difference was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
So that's half. No. This says a lot. A lot.
People
And-
are showing up. People aren't happy. They're not liking where the country is going. And I think it's important that people feel heard.
Exactly. And I think that's what's happening.
So while we had a win, there's been some interesting news happening in North Carolina, which I don't know if
yeah.
you've heard, but Justice Allison Riggs, she narrowly won, a Democrat.
Right.
And this is back in, when did she win? She won back in 2024. Basically, Griffin, her challenger, said that some of the voters didn't have the proper ID or whatever when they registered.
Right.
But these people thought they were following the rules, right? They went, they registered, they did whatever, they went
Yeah.
and voted.
And yep.
And so this is just an example of when the Republicans don't win, they just try to disenfranchise the voters.
Exactly.
And say, well, we're just going to take you to court and try to push through the win. It was kind of scary because they did rule that 65,000 ballots, these people needed to recertify their registrations.
Oh my God.
And they had 14 days. But a judge put a stay on that because they're worried about people getting confused or disenfranchisement. And it's like,
Okay.
well, duh.
Exactly.
You're going to say, why am I voting if you're just going to be able to sue it away?
Exactly. No, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that turns out in our favor in that instance.
Yeah, otherwise we
there's-
have a Democratic judge there. I
Yeah.
mean, she won narrowly, but she won.
Yeah,
in
by
North
700
Carolina.
and some votes, I guess that was too close
Yeah.
for the Republicans. Whatever.
And they did recounts. This is after 2 successful recounts,
Oh, really?
proving that she's won.
Oh
And
my
then now he's
God.
going like, well, they didn't have their IDs when they
Oh,
registered.
now he's gonna go. He checks off his list. Okay.
He's a
yeah,
prick.
Totally. Okay.
Poor loser. It's just another example of the system trying to weed out the woman vote because women actually use their brains when they're voting.
Exactly. Well, we do. Well, that brings up, I want to just stick this in. This might be the perfect time to a segue into this about the SAVE Act. And this is not getting a lot of attention in the media. Well, I mean, can you blame it? It's all this other stuff that's going on and stuff.
It's kind of gets
But
lost
this is very serious. It's about women and their surnames. Okay, 8 in 10 married women have changed their surname, which means they don't have a birth certificate that matches their current legal name. Okay, so 69 million women would have to get new IDs to vote under the Republicans' SAVE Act, which is now happening. They're trying to pass that. I basically think is the Republicans are trying to silence women across the country. This is just part of the whole Project 2025. This is what they want. We're part of the DEI. We're on top of the list. They want women gone. And this is one of the examples of that. And I just wanted to say that because it does not get a lot of attention in the media, but that's happening.
It's like the freaking Handmaid's Tale.
Well, it totally is.
Like, it's this weird
my God, it
reality where all the men are coming and they're like,
yeah.
You're going to have babies. You're not going to have babies. I think it's so creepy.
No, this is really what it's about. I mean, I can't wait to see the finale.
This is the world we live in. I want to see season whatever of American government is not fun.
No, it is not fun. But you know what? The women are going to prevail. I want to see the finale to that. The Handmaid's Tale. They're probably going to kill all the men. I don't care. I hope that happens. I'm going to watch. I'm looking forward to that. So we will see. But I just wanted to stick that in there, and maybe later on in another episode, we'll go more in depth with what's happening to women. And there are a lot of subject matters, even medically, abortion, menopause, I mean, everything that has to do with
and it shows, like,
women.
Can you imagine just being worried about a whole gender because the entirety, like, the majority of the gender just happens to vote on human rights.
Exactly.
And not vote for, like, what are the Republicans even running on? Let's kick out the brown people. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Well,
Like, who votes for that? Who votes for that? I'm talking to you, Trumper, who's watching this.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Seriously. Especially if you're a woman.
What did you vote for? Oh, you know what they voted for? Deporting legal citizens.
Well, that's, unknowingly, that's what they voted for. And of course now, honey, I mean, everything's going to be expensive now. You're going to lose your farms. You're going to lose a lot of shit. Hey.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
share,
and
ring the little bell.
Definitely ring the little bell.
Everything you do to participate or interact with our videos helps us. And we want to keep coming back. So make sure you like, share, subscribe.
Yes, definitely.
Thanks. The deportation, the guy they're trying to get back, Kilmer Abrego Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
He's that Salvadorian native that fled the U.S. or whatever, or fled El Salvador, and then they sent him back.
And they sent him back to, the lion's den when he was trying to get away with.
So they send him to their slave camp prison.
Exactly.
And a judge orders him back, but he doesn't come back because the president says, "F you, judge." That's what he always says.
Basically, yeah.
He doesn't care what the judge has to say.
And they admitted that they made a mistake.
And it was a mistake.
And he's like saying, well, we can't do anything about it. Are you kidding me? You have a great relationship with the president over there.
You can't tell me that you have a relationship with this prison that you can send people to El Salvador. And that you can't get them back if you make a mistake. That's not a good system.
Exactly. No, he's going to push that on.
And this is a father of a child who has autism. Exactly. Right? His wife is an American citizen.
Exactly.
He was actually, before he was deported, ordered by a judge in a protection order to not be deported.
Exactly.
Because they were going to kill him in El Salvador if he was deported. And so now a judge says, hey, Trump cabinet, you have to, send him back. They put a stay on it. The Supreme Court now has ruled, let's just wait and see. Let's wait and figure this out.
Well, I think the Supreme Court is being a... They're all... That was 5-4, but it went to the conservative way. But they said, okay, well, no, there should be due process. But they didn't really take a stand. Seriously, if you were to really read what they actually ruled on, it doesn't say anything. Nothing. That's what I say you are.
Well, I think they put a
You're
hold
bullshit.
on it.
No courage whatsoever.
They're basically saying that there is no need for normal processes, that they could just do a habeas corpus hearing, which would be like you're already detained, and then you get a hearing to kind of decide whether you're rightfully detained or not.
I don't know.
If they're going to keep you in jail or not.
I think it was bullshit. It's all bullshit.
And in America, I thought you were innocent until proven guilty. That's no longer the case.
Well, no, not if your skin's brown.
And not even if you're just a green card holder or if your skin's brown. We are now talking about Trump wanting to have the ability to deport American citizens.
He even said so. A reporter asked him, is that what you're thinking? He says, I would love it. I would love to be able to send U.S. citizens to El Salvador prison, the resort down there, and they could play golf or whatever the it is. You know what I'm saying? This is what I said from the very beginning, Kurt. This is
He's
what they're
saying
doing.
now out loud, like, well, I really want to kind of explore the options of deporting American citizens. And you know what's funny is his press secretary confirmed it, and a reporter asked her.
Yeah.
He's like, so is Trump really exploring deporting American citizens? She was just straight up like, yes, he's discussing deporting American citizens. He's following the law, and he's like, because we're the most transparent cabinet administration ever, we're just letting you know that if people are criminals or breaking the law, yes, we would kind of like to see if we can deport them to El Salvadorian slave camp prisons.
Well, I think this is the end result of all that. But I also have another theory. Another theory is that, they sent all these Venezuelans, gang members, so-called, over there, and they made a big old dramatic propaganda film about it and all this, and now we're fighting about it and all that. And I think this is just because, Trump is all about numbers, okay? He's all about numbers. His ratings have to be high. The numbers to see his speech have to be high. Well, if you recall, back when he was running, he was basically stating, okay, we're going to send tens of thousands of immigrants, illegal immigrants. We're going to gather them up and we're going to deport them back to their countries, okay? Well, that hasn't happened. They tried it, and what were they? They even got the big military planes, and these military planes that hold like 5 helicopters in them, and only like 5 or 7 people walked out. I mean, first of all, it's too expensive to do that. Second of all, they're not able to find the people. So what they did, I personally think, and this is just my theory, that they went after this gang and they're promoting this whole thing and making it a big deal. That's my take on it. And that's why they're doing this, in order to get to the next place, which the next place is they want to be able to, like what he says, deport anybody that they feel that is going against them, that they could just take you off the street, no matter what you look like or whatever, just pull you, just drive up in a black van, mass people, just grab you out of the street and take you, and then you're over there at the resort, the El Salvadoran Resort Golf Club.
The work camp.
The work camp, yeah. That's where you're going to go.
It's a slave camp.
Oh, I'm so upset about this.
I mean, I don't know why Trump is trying to take people from America to a third world country, because I think the time it takes for him to do that, I mean, he's already turning America into a third world country with his tariffs.
Exactly.
So, just build the slave prison here.
Well, I think he is, actually. Actually, I think he is. I read somewhere that actually that's what eventually he's going to do.
Well, it's just build it here. You don't need to go to El Salvador. We are a third world country. We're turning into one. Our stock market is crashing.
Oh, it is.
The tariffs is like...
Tariffs are killing everybody.
I'm like, why go through the trouble of deporting anyone? Just,
Yeah.
Put them in a meat grinder. Might as well.
Well, I was watching The View this morning, and they were saying that, they're talking about the tariffs and stuff at the beginning of their show, and they're saying, you know what we need to do? We need to call it what it is. And I totally agree with them. We need just do what Trump does. He always puts a name on it, and he always calls people.
Trump's tariffs.
This is the Trump slump.
Oh, the Trump slump.
This is the Trump slump. This is his. Let's give it to you. You want a Trump? This is yours. We're already in a recession, okay? A lot of people have said that are in the.
We've lost trillions.
No, we are. We're going down.
And it's real. This is real people checking their retirement accounts, checking their investments. Everything is plummeting.
It's plummeting, and
it's horrible. I think it was CNBC or someone said on the news, they were like, oh, well, he's thinking about maybe putting a 90-day hold on the Chinese tariff.
Oh, God.
And the stock market jumped up today a little bit when he said that. And then, like, the news confirmed, oh, that's fake news. That wasn't real.
Yeah.
And then it went, boo.
Well, maybe this is his way of playing the market. When it goes down, he buys all the stock. Then he says something, and it goes up, and he sells it, and he makes money. Who the hell knows? But you know what? That might be true.
Well,
you never know.
Even if he's doing it as a negotiating tactic, is what people are saying. Like, he's trying to bring the countries to the table and negotiate with him. Like, the damage is done. I mean, it's not so much just about the economic trade stuff. It's also like our relationships with these countries in the world is damaged. And they're going to think, like, how reliable can the American dollar be? How reliable can the American government be if this is how they do business?
Yeah, and now he's having a war with China. And of course, you know, really, are we going to get like these slave labored people that are going to be paid $3, $2 an hour to help build our Nike shoes or tennis shoes here in the United States? That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen.
And I hate to say it, but you can't. So he's trying to go against China because America has the capital, but China has the manufacturing. They build 30% of the world GDP is from China. And so, like, they don't need our money. Like, if they were doing what we were doing, like, they could literally just start buying Chinese-made stuff because they make everything.
Exactly.
We can't. We don't make everything.
Yeah.
So, like, where are we going to get our Nikes and our iPhones and all the, you know, like
Exactly.
they actually have the fortitude in their manufacturing. Now, the argument could be made like, oh, well, that's what Trump is doing. He's trying to do that here. That doesn't happen in 3 days.
Well, it doesn't happen in 3 days. And the fact is you're not going to be able to pay people like they pay in China. That $3 an hour or whatever. You're going to have to pay more.
Well, even if you build manufacturing, it's going to take decades.
Well,
he's going to be dead.
Well,
he'll be
hopefully.
dead.
Well, who knows? Maybe they might wax him and have him
He
here like
won't
Bernie's. Vacation at Bernie's, you know, where they carried him around, the dead guy.
Not talking about
He's going to be
vacation.
around there. Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to know. But you know what I want to know is? Okay. He went and did all these tariffs to all these countries. A lot of countries. Even countries
China's at 104.
Even countries where there was no people, like penguins, only penguins.
What
you
the
know what I'm
fuck
saying?
was that
You know what I'm
about?
saying? I don't know.
What the was that about?
The one he decided not to do tariffs with, was it an oversight, do you think, Kurt? Was it an oversight? Russia. Russia. Now, this is where it comes to me.
No, that sounds intentional.
Well, it totally sounds intentional, and I think, my theory is, I think Trump is a Russian spy.
If only
He
we
went
could-
to Russia in the 80s with his first wife, for God's sake, and that's when he came back, and he was like all into tariffs. I think he's working for the Russian government.
I mean, obviously, he's. What would Russia like more than for America's economy to collapse and for
and then
them
he
to
could
have
take it
no
over.
trading partners but Russia?
And Russia will take over. Putin will come over to, and he'll just take
The
Trump
tariffs
and
are
spit him
idiotic.
out.
So the little board, you know, I loved. Okay, so Trump, his little visual aids. I just can't get over Trump because he makes me laugh. He comes on the TV and he's always like, "Look at this beautiful numbers."
And
He
these are
doesn't know.
numbers. And he doesn't even
doesn't
know
know
what
what
the
the
hell
fuck
he's
they are.
talking about.
He's like, "These are beautiful numbers. These are beautiful. Tariff
Beautiful
is a
numbers,
beautiful word.
numbers.
This is the best economical plan ever." And you're just like watching on TV, like, what? And then you find out that on the board is an island full of penguins.
It's just
We don't export anything and we're tariffing them with 10%.
Isn't that unreal? Yeah, I mean, what is...
10% tariffs for uninhabited penguin
Well, I'll
islands.
tell you what, those damn penguins are pissed. Can you believe it? At the protest when I was in Colorado this past weekend, there were people there with penguin masks on, and I was trying to figure out, okay, that's what that's about. Yeah.
No, and you know what's funny is like, I was watching the press secretary, and someone was like, They're like, did the president use ChatGPT to come up with their tariff policy? Did they use ChatGPT? Is that how the island with penguins got in there?
Got in there? I don't know, man.
Do they not know that you're supposed to check ChatGPT's work?
Exactly.
It's not always right.
It's not always right, and that's funny as hell. You can't make this shit
up. You cannot make that shit up.
Oh,
so
okay.
The way I like to explain tariffs, like what's happening, is in the past when the stock market crashes because there's bubbles. We had the tech bubble in the 90s, right? What that means is people bought and overinflated the price of tech. Okay. But then, it didn't hold up to that value because it's speculative.
Okay.
So then it crashed, right? So then people divested in it. That's the crash. Same with the housing, right? Housing had a bubble, and it was really mortgages. People when you buy a house, you buy a mortgage. So the mortgages were the bubble, right? They were overinflated. And then, the prices went down, bang, a crash. This time, the tariffs and everything, this is everything. And it's people divesting in America. America is the bubble. Oh. We are the speculative commodity that is inflated, and people are realizing that our value is actually...
So you're talking about all the other countries.
Yes, those are people.
In
those are the people in the stock market. I mean, they're investors from other countries, even people in America. When you're divesting how it's happening now, they're basically saying America is not a safe investment. And you'll see that if you look at the Swiss and the Chinese and the dollar. Those are all safe bets when it comes to money. So right now, China and Switzerland are increasing in value. The American dollar is not.
Oh, God.
So it's just, we're the bubble. America is the economic bubble. It's collapsing, and people don't believe that America is worth the investment. And I don't blame them, because who would invest in someone who had a CEO that was like, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Who invests in that company?
Who would invest in that? Oh, my God.
So that's where we're at.
That's so sad.
It's bad when Elon is telling, the richest man in the world, by the way, is telling someone, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea.
I think he actually went to Trump and said, dude, I don't think we should be doing this. Seriously. He actually did that. He grew a pair of balls, and he went in there. They were be blue balls, but he did actually grew a pair of balls, and he went to the president and he said, look, I don't think we should do the tariffs. I don't think this is a good idea. This is not good. This is not good for us. And he said, I didn't vote for this. I'm just talking. Anyway,
I hope he did.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, I think he's hilarious because, Peter Navarro is the Secretary of Trade. And right now, he's kind of the tariff guy. And Trump is like letting him run the tariff boat, which is crashing. And we're not skating by the iceberg. We're driving right under the iceberg. We're going straight down.
We're under the water.
So they're kind of fighting. And what did he say on the news? He called Elon. He's like, well, Elon's just a car guy.
Just a car. Well, that's what we said.
Well, first of all, I don't like coming to Elon's defense.
No, I don't.
But he is not just the car guy. He's the space internet guy. He's the car guy, and he's the huge online platform guy.
Right.
Like, he's much more than just the car guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what he says. And then Elon Musk comes on Twitter, because Elon Musk owns Twitter.
X.
And he calls him, what does he call him? He calls him Peter Retardo. Peter Retardo.
He called him Peter Retardo.
Dumber than a sack of bricks. Truly a moron.
Oh my
Peter Retardo.
Okay.
Good job. I mean, you got to give it to Musk. That was pretty good. That was a good burn. Musk,
It was a good burn.
We still think you're evil.
Yeah, we still think you're evil, but God, Jesus,
That's
even
so
the
much.
evil guy is going against the other evil
Well, even
guy.
the evil guy is like, I want there to be some money in a country for me to plunder.
Well, this is not what the billionaires wanted. The billionaires voted for Trump because they wanted all the regulations to go away and then the taxes to go away so they could make money. They weren't anticipating all this shit. Oh my God.
This is a total shit where you eat moment. I mean,
Oh.
and this is what happens when you elect someone who has no idea what tariffs are.
He does not know. Everybody.
He doesn't know
He doesn't
what
know
he's
shit.
doing. He's
he does
like,
not know what he's
he
doing.
thinks that it's some sort of like bargaining chip when all of these countries, like, sure, maybe China will come, but like I said, they have the fortitude. China can be like 104%. Screw it.
And the Christian nationalists who are actually using Trump as the puppet, who they totally authored and wrote Project 2025, the Christian nationalists, this is all them. They're just using him to get what they want, and they don't give a shit. So as far as Christianity,
But
well,
they think
I could
the
go
world
into
is
that
ending.
shit. Well, that's right, because they already did their, they already went to confession, whatever they
Oh, they don't do
read
confession.
they read their Bibles or whatever.
I don't really know what they
fuck
I
it
think
is,
they just give
but
10% or 30%
so
of
to-
their check to
to
some
the church.
billionaire.
Yeah, to the church.
Some
which
like
is,
well-groomed billionaire on TV.
Exactly. So they'll be the
Evangelists
ones that
are
will
stupid.
ascend when the big old end of the world happens.
And I'm not
I
saying
don't give a fuck.
Christians. I'm talking about evangelists.
I'm talking. Yes, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Christians are pretty cool because they're into love and Jesus and stuff.
Yeah.
But evangelists and theocratic Nazi weirdos,
Exactly.
those people just want to kill you.
Exactly.
Just want
And
you. Beyond the theocratic nationals, the Senate is trying to backtrack the tariffs. They're
Yeah.
trying to take away Trump's ability to first, I think, claim that it's an emergency.
Right.
And then second,
Right.
that he has to approve tariffs through
The Congress.
Congress.
Yeah. So we'll see. There are a few Republicans
And
that
we
are
have
joining
the-
into that.
Mitch McConnell, the turtle.
He's one of them, the
Turtle
turtle.
man.
Grassley, and I don't know what he is. I mean, he's an old person, but I don't know.
Well, there's some Republicans, it's a joint partisan thing.
Yeah.
And all I have to say to Mitch McConnell is, when we needed you to be bipartisan is probably like 2 impeachments ago.
Exactly.
You could have stopped
my
this.
God. You could
but
have stopped all that.
Here we are, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you for coming out of your shell.
That was
now.
great. Yeah, come out of the shell now, Mitch. I
but,
mean, better late than never,
I
but
guess so.
you're
Yeah.
kind of a prick, Mitch McConnell.
Yeah. Well, that could be another prick.
You radicalized the court,
Mm-hmm.
right? He didn't let Obama put his court pick in.
Cayenne.
Now we're dealing with the radicalized court.
Court.
Now we have Trump for 10 years of my life.
Oh, that's right.
10 years of my life I've been dealing with this asshole.
And now he wants to go another term. Well, we'll see. Well, that's ain't gonna happen. We're not gonna let that happen. Okay. Well, maybe we should end on a good note. The
Wait,
national
wait.
protests. Well, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, the national protests.
Okay, the national protests this past Saturday were great. What a great outcome. Everybody showed up. I mean, and one thing I want to say is that it was all peaceful. And it was as big as all the women's marches in
I
2016.
thought it had a really good turnout.
It was a great turnout. I was very proud to see that. And it's working. It's working. We have to protest. We have to show the power of the people. Because I think if we do that, we can convince these Republican congressmen or senators that are like so afraid to stand up to Trump because, oh my God, they're going to primary them. Well, actually, they might have a better chance if they did stand up to Trump, because there are a lot of Republicans that are out there on those marches as well. And they're the ones that will decide and vote them out. It ain't going to be Trump and his power to primary them. So I think the more people come out to the protests,
This last one had
the more of the power we have of the people.
3 million participants. You know what's funny is I was at the protest here in Santa Fe. You were in
Durango,
Yeah,
Colorado.
so you were in Colorado. What I was noticing at my protest, which was way more people than last time.
Really? That's great. It's
So
only going to
much.
get bigger.
So
Yeah.
everyone had like their signs, but
Great.
no one was protesting on the same issue.
No, because they were
Everyone was like,
yeah.
stop with the tariffs. There were some people like, hands off my body. My sign actually said, hands off our due process. And I said,
Yeah.
justice for Andres. Where is he?
Yes. Where is he? There's a lot. Yeah, well, because everybody is starting
Everyone
to see
has their own
issue.
that they're wanting to get out.
Exactly.
And it just proves that the tent of the people, the opposition, the tent is big. And people are mad about a lot of different things.
Exactly. No, you're right. And yeah, it was good to see all that. And it is working.
It is working.
It's working.
So the protests are working. Cory Booker,
Oh.
he, at the beginning of the week, he stood and spoke in front of Congress for 25 hours. No,
Over 25 hours.
25 hours over.
He broke the record.
And he just kept talking.
Very emotional and very motivational speech, actually.
The only thing I'll give him one thing is he didn't really talk about Palestine, which I know it's like a hard issue. And it's a career killer in politics, because if you're pro-Palestine, you're pro-terrorist. But if you're pro-Israel, well, I guess that's fine. Everyone is pro-Israel.
Yeah.
But I just thought he might say something, because there needs to be a ceasefire. They need to stop at least killing people.
Well, maybe he said it like around, 1 o'clock in the morning and you were asleep.
No, he didn't say it.
Well, anyway,
He
yeah.
he didn't say it. But he did a really good job. I mean, we need more like him. I feel like it's like a potluck at this point, right? So whoever brings the potato salad, you're like, yeah, come on in. However people are protesting is fine. just everyone come in and bring
come.
your protest,
Yes.
whatever you're doing. If you're going to talk for 26 hours or...
But I think he motivated a lot of people because
he was
this happened
amazing.
before the actual protests on Saturday. And I really do. I think he ignited the fight.
I really liked his passion, and I liked what he was saying. Even
Yeah.
though he was talking for 26 hours, the clips that they have, I mean, he was really cognizant.
No, he was.
And then he went and did interviews right after.
Exactly. He's a hero. We'll have to have a
I mean-
hero. Who's the hero of the day? That's Cory Booker
Cory
on my
Booker.
day. On my what I say. Yeah.
I think so, too.
Yeah. Today, this week, or whatever.
I mean, he had to be wearing a diaper, right? You can't just stand and talk for 26 hours and not need to do something. Your body has functions.
Well, that would smell though. You'd think he'd probably have a
I mean,
catheter
but do you
or
think anybody
something.
would care? They're just like, holy shit, he's up there talking
Would that be
for
considered
26 hours.
cheating?
I don't think that's cheating. No.
I think he had a catheter because
Maybe he had,
if
like-
you pee in a diaper, it'll smell.
Maybe
I can't
he
believe
had
we're
like
talking about
one leg in a bucket
that. No, it's
and
a
like
catheter.
loose pants, and he would just shake it, like shake it in the bucket.
No. He probably had a catheter, which that would be
Something.
cleaner. And
Okay,
less-
I will not buy that he just dehydrated himself and yada yada yada. Like, you need to have energy to talk for 26 hours. So he had water. There was something.
Well, he had to just Okay.
I mean, we don't want to know the dirty secrets. The magician never reveals the secrets, but I know I'm not the only one who's wondering.
Well, he was
What
an
the hell
athlete,
happened?
honey.
That does
He
not.
was a star athlete in his day.
When do athletes need to stop and hold their continence or whatever?
Well, that's why I think he had a catheter. And that probably
Mom's
was-
like a catheter.
Yeah, because it's safer and it doesn't smell. And it's
Either
easy.
way, Cory Booker,
He's a hero.
hero,
Hero in my book.
did great.
He's a hero in our podcast.
And he's dating Rosario Dawson.
oh my God. Really?
Did you know that? Yeah, his girlfriend's famous.
Oh
In
God. Well,
case
he's a
anyone was
handsome
wondering.
guy. Well, you know what? He's one of the leaders now,
Mm-hmm.
for the new Dems 2.0, which we are doing. It's starting to happen.
Dems 2.0.
Dems 2.0. Ignite the fight. That's what we got to do. Okay? Yes.
Nice. So all we
excited.
have left then
All
is
we have
the
to-
prick of the week.
Yeah, the prick of the week. Last week we had pricks because there was more than one.
I mean, who was it? We had Pete Hegseth.
Oh, it was just a bunch of bad
Because he's a
ones.
drunk prick. And then we
God.
had, who was the other one? We had,
Oh, I don't remember.
no, I remember. It was J.D. Vance.
Well, of course him. Yeah.
And then it was that other guy that was running.
it was the Yeah, he was running for something. It was the guy running against
Crawford.
The guy who wants women all dead and stuff.
Yeah, he's a horrible person.
He wants to do away with women. Yeah, well,
thank God we forgot his name. He didn't win his election. We can forget about him.
So we can forget about him.
But now, this week, the prick of the week is Peter Retardo.
Peter Retardo.
Peter Navarro, Secretary of Trade.
Exactly.
Thanks for destroying the economy.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I didn't want to think about buying an investment property or a car or some shoes or maybe just some food to survive.
Exactly.
I wasn't thinking I might want to do that this next year. Thank you, Peter Navarro.
Thank you. Now we have to really worry about shit.
Yeah. I know. So you destroyed the economy. Please just tell Trump it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And, if he backtracks on it, yes, we're going to give him shit. But it's better than if we're all eating mud sandwiches and waiting in bread lines.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen.
So,
anyway, well,
that's all for us.
That's all for us today. So just remember to
like, share, subscribe, and ring the little bell.
And so we'll see you next time.
Make sure you interact with these videos because it keeps us coming back. We've noticed some growing, so we're really happy that we're getting a bigger audience.
Yeah, and some suggestions on topics.
Yes, comment. Except everyone that comments just says mean things, but that's fine too.
Yeah, well, that always
we
happens.
like the mean stuff.
Well, we're not professionals, We're just, I'm just a mom, you're a son.
I love the mean stuff. I live for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Bye.
Keep it coming. Bye.